to Black with a Dash of. I'm your host, Ronald Thomas. Today, I have world-renowned DJ Darrell Scott in the building. How you doing, brother?
What's up, people? How y'all doing? I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Thank you. Was that your
Yeah, this
pleasant
is my
voice?
professional voice.
Oh,
That's
okay,
my
all right.
professional voice.
Did, I
I'm
hope
gonna
you don't do
keep it
that
a
with the
G because you
I hope
my
you don't do it
G.
with the mic.
So,
No, you don't do
what's good, everybody? It's DJ Darrell.
that.
One of my best friends interviewing me, so this should be easy. A lot of things he probably don't know about me, but we're
Hey,
gonna learn a lot about each other today. So,
hey, watch out now. So,
yeah, man.
so you are a DJ. You've been DJing on the side for how long?
Oh wow. Going on about 16, 17 years now.
16 years. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And me, I just be trying to record stuff in the tape deck and put a little sound in between it so it sounds like it's a CD.
Right. Right.
So how'd you start DJing? How'd that happen?
Wow. I've always had a love for music.
Right.
Um, in my family, we always had. I've been fortunate enough to have a big family, and we always had get-togethers. And my aunt, God rest her soul, my aunt May, she always would have the latest music, the music that make everybody party, and I always found that exciting. Like she could control the narrative in her own house just through music, no matter the age group. This was like maybe early to mid '80s that I'm talking about.
All right.
As I got older, I have a few relatives that actually were DJs. DJ Rod Gray, who was a relative of mine,
Okay.
and a big brother to me, DJ Dr. Dre, Andre Addison. Hanging around them, seeing how the community themselves gravitated to them when they every time they had a party, how professional they were, how they took care of their equipment, and just how they approached just having a party. All
Right.
that was exciting.
Okay.
I really became serious when I really got on the tutelage of Dr. Dre. Um, he told me about the business aspect side of it, the equipment side of it, how to hone your craft. He introduced me to several celebrities. DJ Cool was one of them. I don't know if you know who DJ Cool is, right? Let me clear my throat.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So he introduced me to a lot of people and allowed me to pick their brains on how to be successful as a DJ. What do you do to own your craft or to make yourself better? And just from that point on, just getting opportunities through family to DJ a party just with like minimal equipment and just to get the reaction of people enjoying what you're doing when you're playing music. That's very intoxicating. It's something I can't even describe. It's like when you're, for example, when you got married,
Right.
I'm sure you had like an emotional moment to yourself where it's like this overwhelming feeling of happiness or excitement, even to the point where you may even feel, like you're about to cry a little bit. It's just that, yeah, just a little bit, just a tad bit. I ain't gonna put you on blast, but it's just an overwhelming amount of happiness that you when you're playing music and you see everyone in the crowd enjoying what you're putting down.
Okay.
And no matter what you do, people still in the pocket with it. So that just continued to grow. And um, throughout the years, I've met some great people, put me in great positions to get in clubs locally, which I then met national celebrities, and then my name became big in the area and up and down the DMV corridor. Um, and from that point on, I thank God every day for the ability to have this gift to
Okay.
entertain because it's not easy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, people think just because you have a laptop and two turntables that makes you a DJ. You know, a
Hey,
DJ has to connect with their audience.
you already know, man.
It's
I,
cool.
I've tried
Yeah,
doing it myself. I got my own controller and stuff, and I got a hard time connecting with myself, let alone the audience. I'll be like, "Oh, this gonna be my set. I'm gonna do about 45 of
yeah,
these songs. I do 12 of them, and I don't went somewhere else. Next thing you know, I'm playing Nirvana and Rihanna together, and it don't sound like nothing."
right, right. But again, that's the beauty of music because even when you said Nirvana, and Rihanna, you never know. You could have a crowd. Well, that could be the song or
Right.
the mix that keeps them going.
Right.
I've done parties where I've done day parties and a night party in the same day, and I went from playing Billy Ray Cyrus to Gucci Mane,
Right. I got you.
and the reaction to both records were the same. But it all depends on, you have to know your crowd. You have to know when is the right time to play it, how to play it, how long to play it. It takes a while to understand the craft. And I'm not saying I'm an expert by any means,
Right.
but I think I respect the craft to know enough to know, and to continue to practice and try to get better. Because I'm my worst critic. Every time I have a party, no matter what the venue is, I'm wrecking my brain weeks in advance trying to come up with something that they haven't heard before. I don't want you to say when this song comes on, well, I know what's coming next. I don't want I don't that
Right.
bothers me.
Yeah, no,
That
I
really
understand. I
bothers
understand
me.
completely. Matter of fact, I'm
You
gonna
know,
tell
so,
you, just as a person who loves DJing, and the reason I try to do it is because I love that feeling of when a song is going to a certain place and a DJ mixes something in, you're like,
yeah,
how did
that
how
was
did he put
smooth.
that in there? Wait a minute,
Yeah.
that is not supposed
hmm
to work, and it's
Yeah.
funky. Shoot, every time I played back something that I recorded, and I usually get obsessed with that transition. That is the thing that drives
hmm
me nuts. I can care less about the two songs that are being played. It's how they mix it up, and that little 30 seconds is a song all by
Yeah.
itself.
Transition. If I tell anyone who asks me about DJing, I said if you can transition music, then you're halfway there. I mean, seamlessly transition music, not just put one song here and just hard stopping and play another song. That's not a transition.
Right.
You, I, I tell anyone, if you can play one song and seamlessly bring in another song without stopping the people from partying, then you're on your way.
Okay.
But it takes time. You have to practice. You have to know. You have to understand music first off, because you have to come in at the right time, at the right hook, at the right break, at the right breakdown.
Right.
Whatever the case is, you have to know what that song is and transition it smoothly, because no one people who don't even know anything about DJing, they will stop and look at you like, what the hell is he doing?
Right.
Like how you gonna break? We sitting there, we jamming, we getting it, and then all of a sudden how you? No, come on, bro. And that's happened to me before. It took. I'm not gonna lie. I've had my bumps in the road where I look at the crowd like, man, I lost them just now. I gotta find them again. Like that. That didn't go over well.
So
But it's trial and error.
how do you keep from letting that discouragement get to you? You know what I mean? Because that's just like, to me, that sounds like people that do stand up, right? They go out
hmm
there, they don't do that well, and it'll crush you. And you got to
Right.
get back up and do it. How do you find that? How do you find that in you to do it?
I think we had a bad connection. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
No, I
All
said
right.
when you have those moments, like kind of like stand up,
hmm
when you start to bomb, and oh, I just had a bad set. How do you
hmm
recover and make, not just in that set, but how do you recover mentally and like, okay, this next set gonna be right, but what just happened ain't gonna happen again.
So great analogy. So when it comes to comedy, before like Dave Chappelle or Kevin Hart or anyone does their Netflix specials or movie specials, they go to comedy clubs and test their jokes out, right? They have to see what pops for the audience. So a lot of times, even when if I'm DJing in my basement or if I'm DJing in front of people, you're testing. I try certain music. I try to reinvent myself. I try to just continue to push the needle forward when it comes to DJ Darrell. And that lets me know, it really doesn't hurt my pride at all. It lets me know that, okay, maybe you need to try a different approach when it comes to that particular mix or those particular songs. So I can't really say it really doesn't hurt my feelings. It just makes me more aware that I need more practice on this particular part of my DJing.
Okay.
Um, because I try not to beat up myself too much, because a lot of people can't come behind these tables and do what we do. They get the product of what happens, But if I tell anyone, okay, or stop the pod, I need somebody to come DJ for me while I walk outside real quick. I guarantee you half of them couldn't do it, or hardly no one could do it. But I just try to continue to put myself in a situation where I will succeed. So if I do try something for the first time, you best believe I've tried it in my basement or in some type of practice fashion before it's live to the audience. And if they don't like it, then I scratch it. I put it in the scrap heap and work on something else. But you're gonna have those people who just look at you like, dude, you're killing my vibe. Or, it is what it is.
That's dope.
One thing from a DJ is you have to read the crowd. You have to know who your audience is. Like if I have a group full of 40 plus, I'm not gonna play Lil Uzi Vert all night.
Right.
They may know who he is, but the demographic says that that's not something that's going to really set well with them all night. They're gonna look at me like, okay, who is this guy? Who hired him? So I do my research even before I get there. Like, who's going? Like, what are we looking for? What age demographic am I really preparing for? And even if we get some either older or younger folk, I know how to give a good gumbo of everything, but not overwhelm you just with one thing.
Right.
Because everybody likes a little bit of something.
That's dope. That's dope. And to see and I know that you know what you're talking about, right? I've seen you in action. You did my wedding. People still talk about it to this day.
I'm honored.
They tell
I'm
me
honored.
every day. It's like, man, the party didn't stop. That and the food. They like the party didn't stop.
Yeah,
Y'all a third of some food, and you already know that's all I talk about is food.
Yeah, man.
My question is, you're good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever try to make it your main job?
Oh man, that's been a dream of mine. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm very scared to make that leap, and I don't know why. Because I'm not really scared of anything in life. It's just the fear of failure. But I have a great 9 to 5 now. Benefits are great.
You do.
Yeah. So it's hard for me to say to give all that up and just focus mainly on DJing. I really could. I really could make a living off this. I could travel the world.
I see you on Fridays, brother. I know.
Yeah. So that's a great question. Steve Harvey said it best. He said that sometimes you have to just jump.
Right.
You have to trust that everything that you put into it is going to work, and you have to have faith in yourself. I have faith in myself. I just have to just do the legwork and prepare myself enough to where if I ever do that, then I know I'm not going to fail. So, but I mean, I'm getting older now, so I don't know how many more years I'll be actually doing this.
Stop playing.
I'm being honest, man.
Man, you can DJ forever.
You can. DJ Cool 64.
You ain't gotta dance. You just gotta turn them tables. Now, if you get some 45s, then you might get a heart attack. But you ain't gotta do that. You ain't gotta do that. You slide and click, and you ain't gotta do that.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's a little work, but it's not the same. It ain't the same. It's not. Like we did in '86.
You don't have to carry records. Just the equipment is much smaller and lighter. The only anguish you get is just the mental anguish of trying to make sure that the party pops. That's it.
Well, just don't get Alzheimer's. You straight.
Man, I pray I don't. Man. But that's a great question. Man, if anything, you got me thinking about it again. Because I thought about it before. I hope.
And I hope when we get you back on here, you bring that up again. I do hope that. Because my other question, right, is like, how do you maintain the same interest for DJing when at least currently, it doesn't bring in the same amount of money as your 9 to 5?
Right.
The side hustle problem.
I DJ for so long just for the passion of loving music and getting the enjoyment of watching people respond to music. Because I feel the same way. Like if I hear a song, music moves me.
Right.
It's so even if I'm not gonna lie, the money's good. I love getting paid for something that I love to do, but I do this a lot of times just on the strength of I love to play music. I love to DJ. Um, as I built my credibility and my notoriety around the area, of course I know my worth as well.
Right.
And that's not me being braggadocious. That's just okay. I know what I'm bringing to the table. If you hire me to do a party, I'm going to give you everything I can to make sure that whatever you're investing into this party, you're going to get your money's worth.
Right.
And I think people know when they come to see my party that I'm not gonna have do anything. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna make sure that you left and you got your money's worth.
Right.
So,
But don't you think that once you start knowing your worth, that you can start charging your worth?
hey,
And when you can start charging
hey,
your worth, that's when you make
man,
the transition from making
yes,
that your side hustle to your main job,
your main hustle,
main job,
right?
side hustle.
I have a lot of friends in the industry, a lot of good friends on the radio that do it for a living, and that's all they do, and they live great. They got a head start on me for 15, 20 year head start on me, but I had a proposition to me, like I can get you on the radio. I can, again, I would have to put the work in. I think anything that is of substance, that has longevity, you have to prepare for it. You have to speak it into existence. You have to nourish it. You have to pray on it. You have to do everything you do right. And I haven't done X, Y, Z, and ABC. I've only really just thought about it. That's it. I'm gonna be very transparent. I just really thought about it. And even when that opportunity came my way, I still was in a good position on my 9 to 5. I'm like, man, I got a family. Can I really take that leap right now to say, let me just do this full time? It's scary. I would never say I can't do it because I know it.
No, I understand that, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but like I'm doing this right now. Like this,
Yeah.
I don't even know if this will actually make money, but I'd like it to, right? I'd like for this to be something I can do because I can listen to people. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Right. I've always been a good listener, and I've always been able to get people to say what they feel, right, and say what they mean at least, if nothing else. They may not tell me everything, but they're not gonna lie, straight up.
Right. It's funny you say that because we watch folks on. I watch you as well. You watch folks on YouTube.
Right.
I watch a lot of Madden players.
Yeah.
You know how we love Madden, but
Right.
That's their 9 to 5 is just to play video games, and they make buku money. And I'm like, why can man if someone can just get 17 million followers just to watch me play Madden and 2K, and they make millions of dollars off this, why can't I be a full-time DJ?
You just answered your own question. Have you ever seen a beard so luxurious that you stopped what you were doing, dropped your jaw, and stared in awe at the majestic king who just graced you with their presence? It's fine, we all have. If you're like me, you even want to be that person. And like me, you can. Thanks to the House of Classic Cuts Black Mango Beard Kit. House of Classic Cuts is a company dedicated to helping you have the beard of your dreams. They have a wide line of products designed to help you get that person-stopping, jaw-dropping beard. Their beard butter helps you soften hair, stimulate growth, moisturize your skin, and keep your beard healthy. And it smells great, too, thanks to their signature Black Mango scent. I love using their beard butter myself because that's really all the hair I got left. The top of my head is a little follically challenged. But the hair on my face has grown to be quite the mane, and I'm growing a little attached to it. And because of that, I got to make sure I put in the things that take care of it, day in and day out. But they also have a wide range of products for men's skin and hair care. Get yourself a bigger, better beard now by clicking the link in my description and using code HOCC at checkout. That's houseofclassiccuts.com. Promo code HOCC at checkout. Don't worry, you won't be disappointed. The House of Classic Cuts is making facial hair all-inspiring, one beard at a time. It's that beard butter, baby.
Why? It's nothing stopping me but me.
The thing that I've learned in all these things, which is why I'm going to take this podcast full bore, even if I don't make any money out of it, is consistency, right? When you do something and you show up, people are going to expect you to be there. And when they expect you to be there and you're there and you show up for them, you might be the only person that shows up for them, right? That's what a lot of these YouTubers are. A lot of these YouTubers are people that are consistent, and we love consistency because we barely get any of it.
Right.
We don't. People we work with aren't consistent. Our family ain't consistent. Our relationships try to be consistent, but sometimes they get bored when they get consistent, right? So when you come up in the YouTube, your favorite YouTuber, it's Wednesday, and he dropped one on Sunday and Monday. You got 2 videos to watch.
Right.
And if you
excited to watch it.
And if you don't, you think something wrong. You send a message, hey, bro, you all right? Oh, man, I had to take a vacation. Oh, man, it's all right. I can't wait to see you back. Right? Like they're ready.
Man, did I miss something? Like, you looking
right.
And
the funny thing about all that content is you get addicted to the pattern of it, right? You're not even a lot of times you're connected to the content, but a lot of it is the fact that the content keeps coming.
Right.
You get addicted to the fact that, they gave me something.
What's next?
Right.
Yep.
What's next? What you got? Who's he gonna have on now? What's he gonna do next? He might not even be good. What's this dummy doing?
Right.
Right. But that's what we do, right?
Right. It's you build a relationship with these people that don't even know you.
Right.
Right. And I truly have. Like, I found myself having favorites on this podcast and on this, YouTube channel.
Right.
Like, I really know these cats. Like, if I've seen them in the street, I will walk right up to them and dap them up and talk to them like we've been knowing each other for years.
And that's how
they don't know who I am.
But how many of your friends do you have, or at least had, that showed up to everything you did, hung out with you all the time, but y'all didn't talk that much?
Right.
But that's your boy because he was there. It's like, I remember you was at so-and-so. You was at this festival. You was doing this thing.
Right.
So-and-so been with me every time I go to such and such. That's my boy because he show up.
He show up.
You
said a mouthful. Consistency, and it even goes, I have a great circle of friends and family. And we're always there for each other no matter what the situation is. Right. We all have our own lives. We have our own families. We have our own things going on. But at the end of the day, like you said, we're there for each other. They show up. And even if they don't, I don't expect all my fellas to show up to all of my events. Right. But when they do show up, they actually made an effort to come. Right. And that makes it even more better.
Right.
Because I understand that it's more to life, especially in the climate that we're in now with the pandemic. I don't expect a lot of people to come out like they used to. Even if you are vaccinated, you still can run the risk of, getting sick. So if I do see my brothers out and we congregate, that only makes it that much better. So you definitely hit someone on the head when it comes to consistency and who truly is there for you.
And like a lot of life and these friendships are built in the mundane, right? It's like we don't, what we see on YouTube and on Instagram when people post is the highlights. The friends are there on the in between, right? Like I pride myself in being that friend that helps you move. I'll take you to the airport. I can't always do your big thing because somebody else got a big thing too, or I'm broke. Whatever. I'm big on giving moral support. It's like,
right.
Like, I know you there. Here's $10 for your drink. I'd rather give you $10 for your drink than spend the $60 on dinner because I just can't afford it. Right.
Right.
But it's an effort thing, right? Because I could easily just be like, I'm not coming. Right. And most of us accept that stuff. But when people sent me something, I get a little note and it's like, buy a drink on me. It's like, man, he couldn't be here, but look at you. Look at you. King. Yeah.
Perfect sense. Perfect
Straight up,
sense.
man. Straight up. And like I had a friend I went to see back home. I was back home this weekend and I went to see her. We had brunch, me, her, and her son, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I tend to be real slick with the bill, right? So I go when nobody's looking. I slip it like this. Sometimes I see the receipt. I already got the card ready. They give me the receipt. I'm like, yeah, thank you. All right, appreciate it. And nobody even knows what happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my friend was like, "What are you doing? I ain't seen you so long." I was like, "I ain't seen you in the same amount of time."
Right. 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 Right.
And
Right.
she was like, "Well, I'm at least get half or whatever, and whatever. Can I cash app Zelle?" I was like, "Yeah, whatever. Zelle, use my phone number, right?"
Mm-hmm.
She waited like 3 or 4 days. I'm thinking she forgot about it. It's Gucci. I get it today.
Mm-hmm.
She paid for the whole thing plus like $3. I'm like,
Wow. Wow.
see, y'all wilding. It's like, let me
Mm-hmm.
get
But
you back.
it's good to have people in your corner like that. You know
Right,
what I'm saying? Especially when you're not. It's good when people do things just because they want to do it, not because
right,
they have to do it,
right.
or they feel indebted to you.
And it's a
You know, and
yeah,
it feels better to even receive it because you know it's genuine.
right, right.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen her in maybe 3 years, but we hadn't hung out cool in maybe 12, 15, really.
Wow.
Like, you know what I mean? So it was one of those things where it's like you can tell you're doing the right things when people value you just for you. We didn't do nothing
Mm-hmm.
special. We didn't go to some, fancy roof steakhouse type place. None of that. It was
Right.
just, we just went to brunch. Hey, I ain't seen you forever. Good to see you. That was it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But it was very important for us to see each other and reconnect.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a conversation with her and another friend while I was back home, and somebody else I hadn't seen in about 10 years. And I was like, we've been doing this wrong, right? We've been slacking. Like we gotta, because I don't really want too many new friends. I'll take all the acquaintances in the world.
Right. Right. Right.
I appreciate the circle staying small,
Mm-hmm.
and I appreciate you being in the circle, brother. But
Yes, sir.
I don't want it. I don't want it to grow too much, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got my core folk. No,
Right.
Chrissy said no new friends. I'm good.
No new friends.
Uh,
Yeah.
but it's also important that I don't forget the ones that got me where I'm at, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just say that to say, making sure that you value your time and the people around you will help you learn to value yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that,
I could honestly say in these last 2 years, I've went through a lot, man. And you know what I've been through.
yeah,
It goes without saying, but one thing it has taught me is to not lose focus on what's most important.
right.
You know, one thing I've realized that I can't pour from an empty cup. I can't give any more than what I can give.
You cannot.
You know, um, I have to take care of myself first and foremost before I can do anything for anybody else.
Right.
Mentally and physically. Um, because I've never in my life suffered with anxiety, and that even after I lost my brother several years ago. I recently had been diagnosed with anxiety. I'm like, man, what is this?
Right.
Like, why can't I sleep? Why am I always thinking of this? Why am I always emotional? Like this not me. I ain't, I'm the get over it guy.
Right. Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
man, whatever, I'm good. Man, no. But it got to a point where I wasn't good. And I think, you know, as black men, it's like taboo to talk about mental health.
Right.
Like to admit that I'm having a problem mentally, like I can't get past this. I don't know what to do. Because a lot of times, like what we were taught generation to generation is, oh, toughen up, you a man, get over it. You better not show emotion.
Right.
Like, and a lot of them died at the age of 50 or 40s
Right.
because they kept everything in and didn't know how to express themselves. So uh, having COVID, landing up in the hospital bed, it put a lot of perspective on life. Having my world flipped upside down, when it comes to family and everything. It really made me enjoy life. I'm not gonna lie. Throughout all that pain, came happiness. Because now when I wake up in the morning, when I even like I was having a bad day today, I told you like I broke my television today. Like, man,
Right.
come on, man. I had this TV for almost 6 years. And why I want to break the day on some fluke stuff. But I looked around, I'm like, I can buy me another TV. I'm not hurt.
Right.
No one here is hurt. So I always try to look at the positive rather than just focus on that one thing. And that's what I kept doing. I kept focusing on that one thing that kept me down, bro.
We get
Kept me
mad
down.
about
Kept
it.
me down. Kept me down. And no matter what good was going on in my life, I can. This all I saw was that one thing: horse blinders. Um, but I just had to find myself, bro. And I'm 44 years old, and I've never went through a 2 year span like I went through in these last 2 years. Going in, but I wouldn't trade it for anything because I'm definitely a stronger person. And I'm a different person. I'm more of a, uh, I guess, a more well rounded person because spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, I'm solid.
Yeah, and you looking
I
skinny too,
can't
bro.
really be broken.
You looking a little skinny over there.
Man, come on, man. Hey, I got some things going on, man. Got a dietitian. I'm actually meeting with a dietitian tomorrow, man. I'm taking my life seriously, bro.
Hey man,
I want to be around for a little while.
I'm gonna need you to be because you don't look
Yeah,
a day over 43, but I'd rather say there's a few more years between that.
yeah, yeah. I
No,
just
that's good, man. That's real good.
yeah, and that's another thing about not leaving where I currently work too, because the benefits are great, dude. Man, like I'm getting top notch attention when it comes to my
Yeah.
health, mentally and physically.
What's it?
Because if I didn't have those opportunities to have people to talk to or go see a therapist or a doctor, um, then I really don't think I will be here because they actually help me. A lot of times you don't want to put your family in what you're going through because they're going to take sides when it comes to
Right.
other people.
Right.
It only makes matters worse because they always kind of remind you, "Oh, you doing okay? What's going on now? Like, are you just being
Yeah,
nosy, or do you really want to help me?" You know what I'm
okay.
saying? So,
Eat
yeah,
some
bro.
cake, baby.
Yeah, man. Like, I love my family and all, but we could be messy at times too. Though. We could be real messy.
Always messy
Uh,
because they know you ain't
yes,
going nowhere no matter what they finna tell you.
I'm always be here, man. But yeah, I'm taking life seriously. I'm taking, every day that I'm granted, I'm trying to make use of it. Because again, we're living in a time in a society where you're healthy today, and tomorrow you may not. Things could drastically change, and I know that firsthand. So why not make today the best of it? I know you and I have been talking about doing this podcast, and I'm like, man, no, me and my brother need to chop it up because you and I talk on the phone a lot, and when we do talk, it's always captivating. It's always something that either we seen or we want to talk about, or like I can't wait to tell him what I seen on Instagram
Right.
or something.
Or in a Madden League chat.
Yeah. Shout out to the Mad League, to all the brothers out there too,
Shout
man.
out to all them, man.
Yeah.
Big ups to y'all.
If anybody has a PS5 for no,
Man,
that's the only
we
thing
gonna try to
I
make that
can't
happen
get
though.
my hands on one. I'm not paying eight
I
hundred
don't
dollars for no PS5.
I don't
Nope.
even know how you didn't. I didn't pay for that. I didn't pay no extra. I got mine from Sony.
I'm
Now some of these
trying,
other local jokers, I don't know where they got them. And you know
man.
what
They
I'm
try
talking
to
about. I don't know
punish
how
me
they
out
got
here.
them. All right.
Shh.
Some of these folks, I don't know how they got them.
I get the Twitter alerts every day, and every time I go on there, boom. So I think they got some type of bots or something to be
Oh
buying
no, they
all this
definitely
stuff.
do. They definitely do. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because I literally they get it could be up for 13 seconds and I click on it and it's
right.
gone. Like how in the world can
and,
someone check out that fast?
and
There's
and
no way.
if I was Sony, yeah, get faster. Because as far as we're concerned, we sold them. So I don't, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like
could care
I know
less.
it's
Money making.
unfortunate. Don't you care this much
Yeah,
about people? But we sold our
it,
stock. So good
it's
luck.
about the bottom line, not the consumer. Right? That's pretty much what it is. It's a bottom line business.
Right,
Yeah,
right. Now I
yeah,
get it. It sucks. It does suck, but hey,
yeah.
whatever.
I may just have to get one off somebody like independently or locally that's not in the store that just don't maybe want it anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, but
Yeah, or boom.
I'm
You
having no
know,
luck, man.
go in the corner, boom, boom, in them. You know.
Yep. I need a broad man. I need a broad man. Nah, I need a Tracy Morgan hustle man. That's what I need. What's happening, Chief?
Oh
Oh,
goodness, yo. So now you speak about the pandemic because that's how
man.
all that happened. How I end up with a PS5 because I was stuck in the house. I'm like, I'm just gonna go ahead and
Mhm.
try to beg for one. But you, how did you keep up the energy for DJing in this time? Because like you basically had to kind of reinvent yourself, didn't you?
I did. Um, I started doing parties through Facebook Live. When we all stuck in the house, we couldn't go anywhere. I seen some other of my DJ friends doing it, and I saw the energy that they provided for people that were stuck in the house. I mean, people were literally turning their Bluetooths on and having their own parties with their family. And the first time I did it, um, I think as of right now, it's like at 10,000 views. And I was overwhelmed. I was so overwhelmed at the end of my set, I literally broke down and cried on camera because you can see people commenting, scrolling up and down. And I just had it through my iPhone. I had my iPhone perched up on the stand
Right.
and had a speaker in my apartment, and was just going to work. And literally the entire time, it was just comment after comment after comment. I couldn't read them all, and I'm still going back through that live broadcast and trying to read them all. So, and I try to do that now, even though we're back outside.
Yeah.
Some people aren't. So
Right.
I try to do something every so maybe once or twice a month, R&B Wednesdays, and try to give people some nostalgic stuff to listen to. Try to not just be your radio DJ, but be something that
Right.
of a mixture
Right.
to where we used to be years ago to maybe a song that is new or something you never even heard before.
Right.
I like to break stuff like, yo, this is something new by so and so. Check it out.
Yeah.
You know, just like you and I love the eclectic artists.
Right.
Like artists that probably you would hear on a B side of an album for those who know what an album is.
Right.
Like yo, yeah, yeah. So, um, but it's I just enjoy, even though I wasn't in front of people, the love and the reception that I got from people just commenting and inboxing me and talking to me through the live feed was just as exciting.
Right.
It took some getting used to because I'm sitting here talking and no one's talking back to me.
Right.
It's a little weird.
It's weird.
It's strange. Yeah. But it took some get used to, and I actually still love to do it. I just again I have to make time for it.
I'm going
You
to
know.
challenge you to make some time for it. Right.
Yeah.
Like just pick out maybe one day a month or one day every
Hmm.
2 weeks and do it because it is leaning more towards that, and people are using
Hmm.
these things as soundtracks, right?
Yeah.
A DJ. I know a DJ that does it every Saturday night. He's a huge DJ. He doesn't have to do it for the money anymore. He does
Hmm.
it every night, or every Saturday. He does it on YouTube, and that's how you monetize. I'll put you on game with that
Okay.
offline here, but they that and then on Mixcloud, which I don't fall in love with. Like DJ
Mhm.
Jazzy Jeff is always on there, gigging.
Yeah.
He's got like a scheduled thing. He always pops on. I'm hardly on there, but he always pops on at a scheduled
Hmm.
time, and I guarantee because he does that, his viewership is going up.
Hmm.
And I'd say, if nothing else, use it as practice for going out, and
Right.
you'd be surprised at the revenue you can make.
And that's what I was using it for. As when I mentioned to you, like I practice in my basement. I
Mhm.
use those mixed cloud parties or those Facebook Live parties, just to try different mixes or get a reaction from the people listening because they tell you like real time if they like that or not, whether or not they give you hearts or even they make
Right?
an actual comment. Um, so that definitely, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. Like that is a great way to practice and to keep the people engaged to who I am.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody who's never even heard me play before. Now they seeing what I'm doing and they hearing what I'm doing.
Right. And not just that, keep you engaged.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
my other question too is, this is your side job, and
Hmm.
I'm sure, or I'm not sure, and I'm going to ask you this, that when you have a day job that takes most of your energy, and then you want to do this on the side, how do you keep motivated to do that while on the face or the brink of burnout?
Hmm. Well, that's a great question. You anything that you love, you have to put effort to.
Right.
You have to give effort, whether it be relationships,
Yep.
anything, your job. You have to give it effort because if you don't, it will show. It will show when I go out to these parties
I'll give you that.
that I'm not taking it seriously, and people can sense that. They can feel that. They can people are not that naive to know that hey something's off with him. Like he's not giving us the normal energy that he gives us. And I never want to cheat people out of that experience because I never know who may be in there for the first time or who may need my services. And I don't want to miss out on anything that God intends for me. So during the week, yeah, man. I mean, you working 9, 10, sometimes 11 hours. Even if you're home, that's still you're mentally exhausted. You know, dealing with whatever you're dealing with. I just dig down. If I know that I'm gonna play that night, I make sure I pull my MacBook out and I start listening to music. If I don't, if once I start listening to music, I'm ready. It could be anything. I
No,
mean, I work out with slow jams, if that makes sense.
no, I mean, I can dig it.
Yeah,
I can.
yeah. I mean, I can have Babyface on riding the elliptical.
I mean, we getting a little adult
As
here, but
soon as
yeah,
I
I
get
hear you.
home from work, cranking.
I hear you with the whip appeal.
I'm
Yeah.
being serious.
No, but
Yeah,
you're right. You're right. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So I
I tell you the reason why I say that because it helps me focus. When I hear music, I actually listen to the intent of the song.
right. The
Of
vibe,
what
the
is
vibe it
he
gives off.
saying? What is he saying? What is Babyface trying to say in this song?
Yeah. What's he's trying to.
And I relate it to my own personal life. Like that's why I fell in love with music because music. And I said this when I think they did a Soul Train Awards or BT did something with Babyface, and they did a rundown of all his music. And I'm like, man, Babyface was the soundtrack to my teenage years, from Boys to Men to him to Tony Braxton. Oh my gosh, who else he do? After Seven,
Yeah.
all the the,
All,
the the Boomerang soundtrack. Johnny Gill. I mean, he literally was the soundtrack to my pre-adult life.
I got you.
So just when I'm wrapping this up, it's just like when I hear music, either it takes me back to a time when life was innocent and you didn't have a worry in the world. The only thing you worried about was what was I gonna match with my fila boots going to school that day.
The boot, not the
That's it.
boots, not the
The
boots.
fila boots,
It
man.
wasn't.
The
It wasn't.
triple fat goose coat.
It wasn't the feel like cages.
Man, I had the black fila like look like Timberland boots, but they were actually like the
Look,
Nike boots.
looking like
They were
using
felines
them
though.
ACGs, looking like using Rhythm Nation.
Yes, yes, yes. They were felines, and you couldn't tell me nothing.
You hey, but if
Nothing.
I find a picture of you voguing somewhere, I'm posting it. I promise.
Don't do that, bro. Don't do that. Don't do that. I got a few in here, but I would never show them. No, I would never. It would go to the grave with me. Yeah, but it's just I love nostalgia, man. I love the fact of you can listen to a song and you can remember what the air was like, what it smelled like, who was around, where were you if you hear that one song, or if you hear a multitude of songs,
Yeah.
and that's therapy. That is therapy for me because I love it. I
Well,
love everything about music.
it makes me ask you this, right? So like, I know you love it, right? And I get to
Hmm.
love, especially music. And I'll share mine when I ask you this question. Do you remember any in particular time? Because it happens more than once. People always say, "Do you remember the time you fell in love with hip hop?" Like it's never one time, right?
Right.
But can you think of a specific time or something that you heard that had you going, oh, oh,
Mhm.
so it's like that,
Yeah.
and you looked at music completely differently after that.
Michael Jackson. When Michael Jackson did Motown 25, we were watching it live
Ah,
on our floor model television,
oof.
and he was out there with his brothers. And I'm gonna tell you what I had. See, we didn't have, of course, we didn't have laptop, we didn't have internet. So once you saw it, you just have to remember what you saw, right? Like, it's no playback here.
Right.
So do you remember those handheld tape recorders that you had a handle on it? You put the tape in and you push
Yeah.
play and record at the same
Did you
time.
record the play button? The record button was a red button. Yes.
Yep,
Yep.
yep. And the speaker was at the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
The speaker was at the top, and then you had the cassette, then the play, rewind, fast forward. You had all
Yep.
those
And it had
buttons
a
at the
handle
bottom.
look like a lantern.
That handle.
Yep.
Yep. So when Michael Jackson performed Billie Jean, I had a tape and I pushed play and record and put it to my television. And that's when I fell in love with music. Is when I heard Michael Jackson. And I heard him, but I kept, because I recorded, I kept playing Billie Jean over and over again. My mom couldn't keep isotoners in the house because I always put them on because she was an usher at church, and I would always walk around like I was Michael Jackson putting
Isotonic,
rhymes.
the coldest thing in the world. Ooh, you was cold if you had some isotonic gloves and some
Isotoners.
sweaters.
I begged her to buy me some penny loafers from Payless. I begged her to get me some rhinestone socks. I even asked her could I get a Jerry curl, but she wouldn't go that far. She cut it off at the rhinestone socks. So, but yeah, that's when music became everything to me. And then it just transitioned to when my mom used to buy records. She
Like,
used to bring in, like Rick James and SOS Band, um, you know, a lot of gospel records, Sam Cooke, we had music all the time in the house. Even Southern Soul, ZZ Hill, you know, things that I would see my grandparents dance to Al Green, and they would cry. They would slow jam and cry. What the hell are they crying for? But as I got older, I listened to the songs that they were listening to,
right.
and it made sense because they were reminiscent of the good times.
Yep.
So music does so much for a lot of people, and it puts people in good places. Sometimes it puts you in a bad place because it puts you back to where you may not want to go back to. It all depends on the song. So music is very influential to me, whether it be healing or getting over something or just partying or whatever mood I'm in. Music is involved every day. I listen to music every day.
Yeah, and I
Doesn't
think that's
matter.
one of those things that a lot of us don't realize that that's the one constant we tend to do is listen to music every day.
Every day.
Even the people that pretend they don't like music like that listen to music every
Hmm.
in some capacity.
Yeah. And
Um,
I try to listen to different types of music. I don't. I try to give everything a chance because, like, this Saturday, I'm doing a wedding for like mostly country and western, and even like some polka music.
ain't no
And
hey,
I'm like,
sleep on polka.
yeah, yeah, I've never done a polka wedding, but I'm intrigued by it, and I've been doing my research on it to see like, okay, what makes them pop.
Right.
I know in my community what song will make people pop, so I need to find what makes them pop, right? No different.
Mhm. Usually involves a stallion of some kind. But yeah. No,
Oh
I
man.
remember I remember the first time I heard my mom used to a lot of Motown, a lot of James Brown, Ray Charles. I loved Ray Charles when I was a kid.
Yeah.
James Brown I loved as a kid. I loved Earth, Wind and Fire as a kid. I
Hmm.
loved the OJ's as a kid. Stairway to Heaven is still my favorite song, right?
Yes.
But I remember the very first time I heard Total and Can't You See
Can't you see
that
with
that
that
payback
payback beat?
sample, and
Hmm.
my mind exploded. I heard it.
Yeah.
All I heard was doom doo doo doom doo doo, and I was like, "What in the?
Hmm.
What is this?"
Yeah.
Still one of my favorite songs today because I remember the moment I heard it, I was just blown back because samples samples were really only used in DJing at the
Hmm.
before then. Really, like you got a few
Right.
remixes here and there, but a lot of them are real commercial, right? Or people just didn't care about them.
Hmm.
But that was the first thing that went like real mainstream, and it took you a second to be like, wait, is that payback?
Hmm.
And
I think the early, like the late '80s, early '90s hip hop,
mhm,
like the Rob Bass, the Eric B and
right,
Rakim's, I think they really sampled James Brown a lot
yeah,
in their music.
right,
Um, and I think that just transitioned over to R&B as well.
yeah,
That if especially like in our era, like '90s,
yeah.
'90s and early 2000s, everything was a sample, but they put their own spin on it.
And it was that era that R&B and hip hop were kind of blended.
It emerged.
Depending on
Yep.
who came it out, you didn't know which was which, and you
Mm-mm.
didn't try to find it either,
Right.
right? It was just, oh, Biggie's number one this week. Oh, Tupac's
Hmm.
number one this week. Oh, SWV's number one this week. It didn't matter,
Yep.
and they all sounded about the same.
Hmm.
TLC was one of those ones where they were singing and rapping, and all of that was just they just kept out. Everybody just kept outdoing
I
themselves
love
over,
outdoing each other.
over,
Yep.
over again until it just became
But I
until
hate to
hip hop
get
became
off
pop.
subject, but to me, I think if people call me old school, and I don't say I dislike today's music, but I think it lacks a lot of creativity. I'm gonna tell you why. So in a song today, in a hip hop song today, it's more in your face. Like I
Mm,
want to to you,
right,
but back in the day, it was play on words.
right, subtlety.
Like it was very subtle, but you knew if you understood the meaning. Like for example, "Brown Sugar" by D'Angelo. A lot of people don't know what that means. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right, and he ain't talking about your coffee or your tea.
right, exactly. But it was creative.
Right,
That's my point. And the samples, it's like I think they're going back to that now. If you notice a lot of these newer songs or these newer R&B,
yeah,
well, they're taking songs from the '90s and sampling
right,
them.
right.
So
Which
I
makes
was
me feel
like,
real old.
makes me feel old. Yeah, like, oh, like come on, man.
Yeah, but
But
that's the nature of the
I
game,
can
right?
appreciate that. Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
man.
It's better to me. I think they're showing paying homage to what they grew up on or
Yeah,
what their parents may have grew up on. Just as we pay homage to what our parents grew up on,
right,
what the music that we like, because you're subject to what you're exposed to, right?
right.
We were
You
exposed to
were
Earth, Wind and Fire, Al Green, The Temptations, and a lot of the music that we grew up on sampled those artists, and it just continues to happen. So I
right.
like the way the music is doing. I think hip hop took a veto somewhere. I don't know where it went to. It went down the street in the back alley somewhere and got
That's
lost.
that's what hip hop's always done. So it's hard for us to to get mad at it. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that's what hip hop has always done, right? We
Hmm.
used to we went to be doing it just to make people mad and have a new kind of sound, to trying to fight the police and it's kind
Hmm.
of movement to be progressive. And I think it's always going to be a movement of being progressive because a lot of it now is stuff that's new and we would have never thought of. And we're looking at it like,
Never.
why would you do that? Even though when we think back, Roger Troutman had a straw in his mouth.
Man,
We didn't say nothing.
nothing. Nothing. But he parted. He parted.
But
Let me
yeah,
see, I gotta
man,
turn this thing
I
on.
I you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, I just appreciate you taking the time, brother. Is if
Mhm.
there's anything you have for anybody who wants to get into DJing, any advice, any kind of gems you'd like to drop?
Right. So again, I guess it goes back to what you talked about earlier. If you truly want to do something, you have to put your all into it. You have to invest your time, your energy, your money, um, and you have to practice. Just don't think that just because you buy the equipment that makes you a DJ.
Right.
You
Say
have
that.
to understand music, learn music. Look, if you go to a party, don't feel ashamed, or don't feel like you're too, I guess, you're not good enough to go up to the DJ and say, "Hey, I'm an inspiring DJ." I encourage that. When someone comes up to me and say, "Hey, man, I really appreciate what you're doing. I like what you're doing. Can you show me something?" I'm like, that to me, that's the biggest compliment that I could ever receive, because they're looking at me in amazement.
Right.
Like I'm doing something that they like. So I don't take that for granted. So just own what you're going to do. Own your craft. Own your trademark. Own. Don't be like me. Be yourself. Create whatever lane that you want to be in, and just own that. Because one thing I tried to do was I wanted to be like so and so, or I wanted to mix like so and so, or listen to what he did, and I want to do that. No, because I'm not being genuine to myself. So practice, practice, practice. Man, we talking about practice.
You're right.
That's what DJ Cool told me. DJ Cool, that's when I asked him, I said, "What advice would you give me as an up and coming DJ?" He said, "Practice." He said, "When no one's looking, no one's around, go in your house or in your bed, wherever you go, and practice. When you don't have a gig that weekend, still play." He said, "Because you have to continue to reinvent yourself. Do not be uh, don't be so complacent to where you think you got it going on, when that next up and coming guy is willing to push you right on out of there,
Right.
because he is
You're
hot,
right. You're right.
you know." And you don't want to be the outside looking in because you think you got it going on and you don't think you can't get any better. I, I'm my worst critic, bro. I I beat myself up. I record all my sets and I play them back and I'm like, "God damn it. I could
Right.
have did that better. Or why didn't I play this song? Or how didn't I play? Why? Man, what am I doing?" But the crowd never knew it.
Right.
They never knew that I didn't do something right. Never knew it.
I get it.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate you, brother. Well, tell the people where they
Yes,
at.
sir.
Where can they find you? Your
I'm on
handles and stuff.
Facebook. I'm I'm on Facebook, Darrell DJ Darrell Scott, DarrellScott, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, all the same name, Darrell DJ Darrell Scott.
You still got that
You can
Mixcloud
follow
going?
me on Mixcloud,
Yeah.
Darrell DJ Darrell Scott as well. I have about maybe 40, 50 live mixes that you can listen to at your leisure, and more to come. So working on the website, and if you follow me on any social media platform, I definitely will update you on all my parties and upcoming adventures.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, DJ Darrell Scott. I appreciate your time, brother. Thank you. I'm going to
Much love to you.
here.
Thank you, sir.
After I start practicing for the next 20 years on my controller, I'll be ready for a 3 or 4 song set. All right.
Hey, I'm gonna invite you to VA and let you rock the crowd, man. You're gonna be my protege.
I sure will. And I'm gonna hit those presets on the songs you already set up for me. Oh
Oh, that
man.
sounds like Daryl mix right there. It is.
Yeah,
Stop it,
he's a
Ron.
protege, brother. I've read the books.
Yeah,
Thank you.
anytime, man. Just
Thank
let
you,
me know
man.
whatever you need, brother.
Of course.
Yes, sir. Appreciate the hospitality, man.